Hello. Welcome to today's episode. This is Meg, and I'm excited to be here to talk about some of the secrets to leveraging financials that propel businesses forward. From optimizing cash flows to making data-driven decisions, let's discover how to align financial strategies with business goals with one of the leading business experts, Mr. Amer Qureshi. Hello, Amer. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you very much. Good to be with you again.
Same here, same here. Thank you, Amir, for your valuable time. So, Amir, let's have a basic understanding of the concept of strategic financial management and how this kind of management is different from the traditional financial management, which used to be in function or in operation within the businesses.
That's a good place to start. So essentially, most businesses just sort of plod along month after month, year after year, and they don't really have a strategy in mind in terms of what they want to achieve from the business. Business owners, or sometimes even the management teams, are not very clear on their financial objectives. Often businesses confuse budgeting with strategy. So, quite often I come across clients and ask them if they have a strategic plan. And they'll say, yes, yes, we have it. And then they show me a copy of their budget. So there are a couple of key points to remember. A budget is not a strategic plan. And financial planning or strategic financial management has to follow the overall strategy of the organization. So before we can start talking about numbers and how do we make money and which direction we should go in from a financial perspective, we've got to have the overall business strategy figured out. So strategy comes first, and then comes the whole financial strategy, which must underpin the overall strategy.
I get it. Right. You're right. So most of the times what happens is that people try to confuse the budgeting with the strategic decision making.
Yes, they get budgeting with strategic, confused with strategic planning and so on. So when you're talking about strategy overall, or you can have a whole heap of financial goals. For example, we have a business which is generating a certain amount of profit. One of the goals for the next 12 months could be that it wants to increase its profitability. Then the whole question comes, how do we do that? And we can talk about the strategies to improve profitability. Then another problem is some businesses may be struggling with collecting receivables from their clients, customers. How do we fix that? How do we improve that? So often it's a case of coming up with a strategy which underpins the goals and objectives the company wants to achieve, whether it's in regards to receivables, profitability, overall cash flow. And you've got to have a look at all of these things in detail. You can't just keep plodding along, because that's not being very strategic.
You're right. You're right. So, what do you think can be the effective strategies for business goals, especially when in their industries are undergoing a rapid change? So, what could be the strategies that can actually effectively produce results?
So there's a lot that can be done even in difficult circumstances. I know around the world we have several challenges at the moment. For example, in many countries, inflation is a problem. In some countries, there is political issues, economic circumstances are not going as people might have hoped. So in that situation, my advice to businesses is always to go back to the basics. Look at, for example, if you're manufacturing something, if you're producing something, look at your profit margins, look at ways of optimizing your margin. How, if, for example, even a small incremental increase in your margin can have a big impact on the overall profitability. So similarly, go back to other areas of your business. You may have assets that could be liquidated, more cash could be generated, which could be reinvested in the business. You really need to start with someone who's independent, who's objective, who can help you figure out what it is that you need to do. And they don't have the answers, but they definitely know which questions to ask. And that's where I suppose having an independent, objective person in your business really helps.
Absolutely. So that's why businesses are now quite reliant on financial analysis tools. So I'd like to know that what are the latest advancements in financial analysis tools that businesses should be aware of to enhance their financial decision-making capabilities?
Yes, so many businesses used to rely on simple things like Excel to do their financial analysis, especially in developing countries like Pakistan, and so on, because the accountants themselves don't have access to some of the new technology. So they, keep doing spreadsheets, and then they take these spreadsheets to the owners of the business who don't really understand. And if they were really creative, they will put in a few pictures and few flow charts and whatever just to make it look slightly better. Now, around the world, there are so many financial analysis software. So, for example, one of the ones that I have been using for the last 8 or 9 years is something called Fathom. It comes out of New Zealand. It presents financial information in a way that has not been done before. It sort of gives you a nice graphic representation of the numbers. It gives you goal-seeking opportunities. So what I often do working with clients is to actually start with their financial statements, which are put into the system, and it has a very nice user interface. We start with a simple question. Last year, you made a profit of X amount. What is it that you would like to make next year? And then the system actually guides you, with help from someone like myself, through a series of steps and strategies you can implement to increase your profitability. But the great power of this thing is that it simplifies things. So by the time we're finished, the business owner or the board of directors are left with 2 or 3 very simple choices. To increase the profit, for example, one strategy may be if we can increase our prices, or we can reduce the cost of manufacturing or cost at which we buy our products or services, or we can reduce overheads. There could be a number of other things, but it's usually a combination of these 2 or 3 things that can have a massive impact on your profitability.
Indeed. And so, Amer, in your experience, what are the most common challenges businesses face when transitioning from traditional financial management to strategic financial management?
So one of the problems I find with family-owned businesses, and obviously corporate business, large companies are much more advanced in terms of budgeting, financial management practices. But in family businesses, first thing the owners do is they extract too much money out of the business. They confuse the business requirements with their family financial pressures. So, they'll all of a sudden pull out money to build a house, for example, or to buy a car for their children and so on. And that places unnecessary burden on the business and its ability to grow and prosper. And so that's one area. The second thing is they, especially in developing countries, they tend to associate bookkeeping with accounting and financial management. Today's accountants are your financial advisors. They are supposed to be your trusted advisors. They're supposed to know everything about business. And maybe in some countries, the accountants are not up to the level. But in developed countries, Australia, where I have grown up, accountants are really effectively your best friend. They give you advice, they give you ideas, and they have the knowledge and the know-how to be able to take the business to the next level. And you need to find those kind of advisors, not people who simply do bookkeeping and tell you last month we made $5 profit or $10 profit. That is not what strategic financial management requires.
You're right. You're right. So I'd like to have some of the real world examples, like where strategic financial management significantly transformed the business growth strategy, like some of the businesses that you have an idea of or the business you have been running. How do you think that it made an impact?
So what happens is it's a process of educating all of those people who are working in the business. Traditionally, what happens is that the owners of the business do not have a financial background. They obviously are very business savvy. They understand how to make money. In fact, they're probably better at it than most of us would ever be. However, they don't understand the numbers. So part of the process in terms of becoming more strategic in terms of financial management is to educate all of those people, get them to understand how the numbers work, what the numbers actually mean. And what I love to do is to demystify the financial information. And essentially, I always encourage people that there is no need to look at the numbers. This is why you have accountants. This is why you have financial advisors. They should be able to take the numbers, simplify them, and give you the key message. And then you go about making business decisions. And businesses that are able to do that are much more focused, and their profitability goes up much more rapidly than those who are just struggling with the day-to-day basic kind of accounting that I described earlier.
Well, thank you very much, Amer, for your valuable time. And I hope that the advices and suggestions that you have shared with us be of value to the viewers as well. The purpose of this video is to provide some of the actionable insights for viewers looking to enhance their financial management strategies. And I hope that the strategies and the knowledge shared today be the seeds that grow into the future success of your business. Thank you very much to the viewers as well. I'm grateful for the time you have given us to watch this video. I'll leave you with a quote here that someone is sitting in a shade today because someone has planted a tree long time ago. Thank you.
Thank you.